This is Matt Kouba. 6 foot tall, currently just under 250 pounds. I just recently competed at the NPC Junior Nationals in the super heavyweight class, and I took third place. Currently still dieting for USA's in Las Vegas. So we're 3 weeks out from that show. There were 6 weeks in between the two shows. Just focused on coming in a little tighter, drier, harder for USA's, just trying to make improvements over these next 6 weeks, which I feel like we've done. I'm down a few more pounds since Junior Nationals, so we're definitely a little tighter and harder in preparation for that show. And then here's my friend.
All right, so my name is Marc Shulman. I'm about 5'6", and I weigh about 205 pounds. I last competed at the Illinois State in 2014, where I won the overall. And my next show is probably going to be sometime next spring. Just need to add some more size to be at the top of the light heavyweight class. That's the goal. And just kind of trying to get a good off season in here where I can add some weight, add some inches, but still stay lean, and just bring up all the lagging body parts that I have.
Okay, so you guys trained arms today. Go ahead and take us through your arm workout, what you like about the movements and different things like that, bud.
Okay. All right, so we started with triceps today. We usually do start with triceps. Me and Marc have been training together for many years. We've probably been training together for about 9 years, so we get how each other likes to be spotted and what each other likes during each particular exercise. So we pretty much wear our headphones the whole workout and just kind of do our thing. We don't really need much communication at this point. We kind of read off of each other. We used to work out pretty much every workout together. Now it's maybe at least once a week, or whatever we could get in, obviously with schedules varying a bit. But we started here with just a straight bar tricep extension. I went up to a pretty heavy weight, trying to hit some tough sets at 8 to 10 reps. Our first couple sets was just more, getting the joints warmed up, getting some blood flowing into the muscle. So we did a couple sets of like 15, 12 reps. And then we were doing our working sets with, like I said, about 8 to 10 tough reps. So we just kind of kept working up in weight until we got to a tough 8 to 10. And then we used a little bit of forced rep techniques even on the first set there, where he would spot me a little bit on the last 1 to 2 reps while still making sure that I'm able to control the negative. As you can see, I'm taking them up pretty high on these. I usually do like doing that, especially with the straight bar. If I'm using a V grip or a rope extension, usually I don't come up quite as high as I do on the straight bar attachment. And at this particular gym, it does have the back support, which we used. A lot of times we don't, but we kind of started our warm-up sets and using the back support, and that felt good today, so we just kind of rolled with it. So a lot of the workout is somewhat planned, but we do ad-lib a little bit depending on how that particular exercise feels on that particular day. And so, like I said, today we just worked up to a pretty heavy weight and used that straight bar attachment. So no real pause, just kind of getting them up high, focus on getting a full extension at the bottom. So again, like I said, me and Marc have been working out together for years, so he kind of knows what kind of tempo I want to go at, and just making sure that the bar stays moving and I don't hit any sticking points. If you're doing a tricep extension and you hit a sticking point, you kind of lose that tension in the muscle. So we just make sure to keep them moving the whole time to get that full extension. Again, though, without the pause. So yeah, that was what we did first.
And I want to add that the first year of the 9 years was probably a learning process for me, where I had to get used to all the spotting techniques that Matt likes, and then kind of from there, he's very particular in his spotting techniques, and he's not afraid to let you know. But after that first year, I picked up pretty quickly, and we've kind of been in sync since then. So we moved on to, usually after that first exercise, which is a little bit more of just to get blood in the muscle and kind of get everything warmed up and moving, we'll move into more of a compound movement or a heavier movement. And so this particular workout, we did the dip machine, and we kind of were just working the heavy weight on that. We were trying to push with a good momentum at the top, and just kind of getting some force reps in at the end. I think we did 4 sets of around 10 to 12 with a pretty good weight, and just kind of making sure like those last 2 or 3 we were going to failure, and the other person was kind of giving the other person a little bit of a spot just to make sure that they were getting the weight all the way down and getting a good squeeze and getting the whole range of motion during the movement. We try our best to get full range of movement on everything that we do, and try and just work the whole range of motion in the best form that we can possibly with the heaviest weight that we can move during the given set. Usually we'll work about 3 to 4 sets in that second exercise, and then we moved on to...
So we basically did 3 exercises for triceps. Typically we'll do anywhere between 3 to 4 exercises. Today we just did 3. Like I said, right now I'm 3 weeks out from my show, so we're not going to do anything crazy with the volume, or I didn't do any drop sets today, or pretty much the main intensity technique that we used was a couple force reps just at the very end of the set. But still, like Marc said, we really try to use as heavy weight as possible, but while still keeping good form, obviously. And when we say good form, that is kind of relative. I feel like as long as you're keeping tension on the muscle and you're feeling the muscle do the work the whole time, then your form is good. Some exercises there could look or appear like there's more of a swing or the form's more relaxed, but as long as your focus is still on the targeted muscle that you're trying to work, then I would say your form is good. So it is relative. So this last exercise we did, though, was it's typically used for a close grip pull down, but I've been using this the last couple weeks. This is an exercise I kind of go through phases with. It's been feeling real good lately, so I've used it, I think, the last 3 or 4 tricep workouts I've done. This particular cable seemed a little light, so I used the whole stack. But that weight felt good. I like bringing these up kind of higher again, and then just focus on keeping your hands on top of that grip. It looks a little awkward getting it into place because your hands are kind of on the outside of that close grip attachment. But once you find a good rhythm, and again, just keeping that tension on the triceps all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom of the movement, these feel great, and they feel totally different than any other attachment like a straight bar or a rope or a V-grip, or even it looks kind of similar to if you were to do a single arm extension where you kind of almost come across the body, but it really feels completely different than that. Definitely give them a try. It's worth it. I'm pretty sure I saw Jay Cutler doing them in a video years ago. I think that's where I got the idea. I know I saw somebody doing them in a video somewhere, and I figured, I'll give those a try. And it's one of those movements that it might feel a little awkward at first, but if you give it a chance and you find a good rhythm, they feel unlike any other tricep extension movement that I've ever done. So been getting a great feel on those. A lot of times if we did a 4th movement, it would be some kind of stretching movement like a standing overhead rope extension or a skull crusher movement, or if we only did 3 exercises, but we might do a stretching movement. But today we elected to do those 3 movements, and they all felt really good. It was a good sequence of exercises, and definitely got the job done on those today. And then we moved on to biceps.
All right, and so we finished off triceps, got a good pump, and then we were going into biceps. We kind of usually will hit either a straight bar or a dumbbell exercise for our first bicep movement, but today we kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, change up the sequence of our exercises, so we hit single arm hammer curls, and we just did 1 warm-up set just to get everything, kind of see how everything was feeling, and then we went into a little bit heavier hammer curl than maybe we would have done And our goal was to try and hit anywhere from 8 to 10 with some assistance. So we just made sure. I know Matt really likes to squeeze the handles of the dumbbells. He feels like that gives him a better contraction. So we tried to concentrate on that, as well as just controlling the movement on the eccentric portion of the hammer curl. So we did 8 to 10 on one side, and then we went right into the other side. And if we needed maybe some assistance on the last 2 or 3, then we'd do that. But we just wanted to make sure that the bicep and the brachialis were just completely fatigued. Felt really good after getting a good pump in triceps, just to kind of move the blood into the bicep muscle, and definitely felt a good pump on those. I think we hit 4 sets. The first set might have been a little bit lighter, so we hit a little bit higher reps, but then we were pretty consistent with 8 to 10 reps, and felt really good for our first movement. Like we said, we don't normally use those as a first movement, but it felt really good today.
Second movement we did was more of a spider curl movement. So a lot of times we like doing these laying face down on an incline bench, but the benches that they have at this particular gym didn't really allow for that exact movement. So we modified it a little bit and did them standing. Same basic idea, and on these your elbows are supported. Obviously using that preacher type bench. So, and again, like Marc said, on pretty much all bicep exercises, I get a great feel and activation by actively squeezing the bar the whole time, especially on the dumbbells. So with those hammer curls, it really helps activate, the lower portion of the bicep into the forearm, and just the bicep in general. I feel like over the years, just being conscious about that, I feel like so many people just do the motions and curl the weight from point A to point B, but by actively squeezing the bar, that's why some of those things like those fat grips actually I do think are beneficial and work, because it forces you to think about it, actively squeezing the bar. But same thing, with the hammer curls, and then on these spider curls, I was making sure I was squeezing the bar the whole time. That's why it might look like the bar is moving a little bit slower. I'm still trying to be as explosive as possible, but the whole time I'm actively squeezing the bar on the way up. And then, that also forces you to feel the bicep doing the work from the bottom of the movement all the way to the top of the movement. So it initiates the movement, and then you get a good squeeze at the top, as opposed to, I feel like a lot of people just kind of swing it out of the bottom and then start to feel it, near the top of the range of motion. I really feel the bicep doing the work, from the bottom initially, and then all the way up to the top of the movement. So on those, we didn't go super heavy. At this point, I was starting to almost lose the pump a little bit, just because the carbs are getting depleted. So I was just trying to make sure I worked the full range of motion and keep the intensity still high, which that's where it helps having Marc there to push me, and he's still able to work hard through it. So it definitely helps, especially when you're deep into prep, having somebody there to push you and force you to get those extra reps. We did a couple sets of, I think we did 3 sets of 10 to 12 even. I think I got 12 and Marc was getting like 10. I actually do some direct work for forearms. We didn't do any direct work for forearms today. My forearms again, we started with those hammer curls, so those definitely fatigue the forearm somewhat. But I actually am a believer in doing some direct forearm work. I do attribute a lot of my forearm development to the fact that I actively squeeze the dumbbells and the barbells, while I'm doing the movement. You'll definitely feel more activation through your forearms from that. But I've always believed that, if you want a muscle to grow, you got to train it directly sometimes. So, it's real basic stuff like just, wrist curls, but again, trying to go as heavy as possible with good controlled form. So we're always believers in, going, heavy, but, heavy is obviously relative to, how much energy you have, how the particular movement, and then also, maintaining that proper form so that you're not swinging or getting sloppy with it. Yeah. And then we did 3 exercises for biceps. So then the third exercise we did.
On the third exercise, we kind of were thinking maybe we were going to do a straight bar, so we wanted to go over to the cables. And the nice thing about cable is that you get a constant tension throughout the movement. Like Matt said, we always squeeze the bar, but then the actual cable applies a little bit more tension in the line of movement. So we got, let's see, it was a lighter stack, so we were able to move some pretty good weight, and we were maybe able to get kind of an explosive contraction out of the bottom of the movement. And we went a little bit higher, or at least I did. I think you went 10 reps. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we brought him a little bit higher as far as the range of motion. So he was going to his forehead, and I think I was doing similar type of movement. And then, we were going a little bit higher on the reps on that one, just because the way that the weight stack was, it was a little bit lighter. But we got anywhere from, I think it was 10 to 12, and with a little bit of a spot towards the end. And it felt really good. Straight arm curls always kind of feel really good. We usually, like I said, will do them at the beginning when you're a little bit stronger, but doing them towards the end when we were fatigued like we were today, we got a great feel. And just going back to what we're talking about forearm training, like Matt, I'm a big believer in forearm training. I also think that when you do a lot of reverse grip curls and different exercises like that, you train your forearms. So I think that over the course of the years, along with your work on back day, I know Matt doesn't wear wrist wraps a lot, so he's able to train his forearms indirectly through back day as well. So that helps a lot with your forearm development. And because sometimes people aren't blessed with big forearms, you got to kind of build them. It's just like with any other muscle. So we finished with that straight bar curl and got a great workout in today. We got a really good pump.
So yeah, last year I actually did junior nationals last year, and I placed second in the super heavyweights. It was less competitors in that class. It wasn't quite as competitive as a show as this year. There was more competitors, obviously, better guys. So like I said, I took third place this year at junior nationals, but overall it was a much improved look, which in my opinion should always be the goal for bodybuilding, is to improve upon yourself from one year to the next. I mean, you really have no control over who you go up against. Obviously we train for a show to win. But at the end of the day, you got to take away some positives and, just use it as motivation for the next one. But my nutrition this year, what I think helped create a better overall look was that I was able to keep carbs in my diet. So this year I started working with Chris Acteo back in like November, late October, I believe. And, Chris is a big believer in sending pictures like every other day, sometimes every day as we get deeper into prep. So he really keeps a close eye on things, and we make adjustments accordingly to how your body reacts. I think that, having a plan is good, but at the same time, the body doesn't really work like that. Your body changes depending on how lean you are or how depleted you are, how much cardio you're doing, if you get more run down. Just looking forward to the next, couple of weeks and finishing this prep strong, getting some more good workouts in with my buddy Marc, and enjoying the USAs.
All right, so it's been a long time since I competed. I competed, like I said, in 2014. So if we go 2014, kind of fast forward to where we're at right now, my nutrition, a lot of the knowledge that I had gained in nutrition have been from a former coach, Brian Smith, that I work with. And I've kept a lot of the same principles. We keep in a lot of carbs, pretty good amount of protein, and then we're just kind of lower on the fats, but the fats are higher quality fats, not higher saturated fats. Like I do fish oil throughout the day, and then I do olive oil, almonds. So a lot of my fats are unsaturated fats, healthy fats for your heart, and then I just do all whole food meals with the exception of my post-workout. So I don't really rely on shakes and things like that throughout the day. So I'm usually eating steak, fish, chicken, eggs. As everybody knows, I'm not a big eater. So this last year, I've kind of decided that I'm not going to force feed and just kind of eat when I'm hungry and eat when I feel like it. And I think that that's kind of been the biggest difference in maintaining a good level of conditioning. I know that if I'm going to compete in the next year, I'll definitely have to push calories and force myself a little bit more to put down some calories in order to grow. So that's going to be kind of the next step as I go towards competing next spring. Is I'm going to have to kind of push the calories, and I won't be able to kind of eat just when I'm hungry. I am a slow eater, and it takes me a long time to get all my meals down. If anybody's ever sat through dinner with me, I'm always the last one, even if it's a cheat meal. So eating is probably the most difficult part for me. Being in the gym, I love it. It's my passion, and I could do that, forever. But the eating part has kind of been the biggest challenge. So, that's what I'm really going to have to push this off season. Making sure that I get in all my meals every day and making sure that, I'm hitting all my macros for the day. And that's going to help me to grow because I need to definitely put on at least 10 to 15 pounds of size. But the biggest thing that I have noticed in the past 2 years is that my weight really hasn't changed a whole lot, but I've gotten bigger. So I've added inches without adding weight, which to me is a success. And I think that if I can continue to do that while putting on a little bit of weight, then I can be in a good position to diet down for the shows that I have coming up in the spring. So that's kind of the outlook for this next year. And, Matt and I are going to get in some good training sessions, and we always hit it hard, and we train with intensity. So I know that I'm going to be able to grow in the gym, with the training that we're doing. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'd like to thank my fiance and soon-to-be wife, Jessica, of course. She lives with me, and she helps me prep my food, and she helps me mentally, just stay on track. And she's just such a positive, optimistic person that, ever since I met her a year and a half ago, just my whole outlook on everything, I think, has changed for the better. People that are close to me, notice it and mention it all the time. So she's been a tremendous influence in my life, and that's definitely transitioned over into bodybuilding. So I definitely have her to thank big time for the improvements that I've made, and just making it. And I got to thank Chris Acteo, my coach. I truly feel like he's made bodybuilding fun again. He kind of helps balance it out, where he doesn't take it, I'm more of a, trying to think how to say it, like a perfectionist kind of a person, and more, I want a set plan, whereas opposed to he might be a little bit more, laid back, but at the same time very on top of things. Like I said, he wants pictures either every day or every other day. So he's kind of helped me relax and just, understand the sport better and simplify things to the point where, keeping things simple has been very beneficial and, has worked well for me, where I'm not overthinking every, minor detail. I think people, they sometimes overthink all these little tiny details when in the grand scheme of things, it's like, focus on the things that really matter. And I think that's what he's helped me focus on. And kind of the other little stuff are just side notes. So he's definitely helped me a lot. And then obviously Marc, working out with Marc, and I got my buddy Tommy who, he pushes me hard in the gym too. I've probably been doing most of my workouts with Tommy. He brings a lot of intensity, and I'm very appreciative of him putting up with, like Mark said earlier, how I'm pretty particular with my spotting techniques. Tommy will definitely attest to that as well. But I kind of know what feel I'm looking for in the gym, so I just go off of that more than anything. So, yeah, those would definitely be the main people. There's a lot of people over the years that have helped me get to where I am, but I would say, those people are definitely the most consistent, and I appreciate.
So as far as people that I'd like to thank, there's a lot of people with social media that I can reach out to on a daily basis and send messages. I think the most consistent people that I've actually had a chance to talk to and get their opinions on things would be like John Meadows, Shelby Starnes, and Jason Theobald. Like if I ask them a question, they get right back to me if I'm thinking about something or want to bounce something off them. They've always been really, really good, really positive, really knowledgeable sources of information. So I definitely want to thank them for sharing with me sort of the information that they've gained over the many years that they've been training people and training themselves and working with clients. And then I also want to thank Matt. Anytime I have a question about diet, nutrition, training, or something that I just want to bounce off somebody, he's definitely my go-to person. I'll shoot him a text, or if I see him in person, I'll ask him what he thinks about something, and I definitely value his opinion, and I know that he's always looking over research and looking over things, so he definitely knows what he's talking about, and so I trust him and kind of get some ideas from him, and it's really, bodybuilding has kind of become more of a group effort now. I think with social media and even like Adam McVeigh's like Geared Up page and things like that, I think that it's kind of helped people to have more of a community atmosphere where we're kind of supporting each other, as opposed to where when we first started, everybody kind of kept to themselves and didn't want to share too much information because they didn't want to give away any secrets. So I think now we've kind of come to a place where it's appropriate to share ideas and to help other people, because we want to see that everybody reach their best potential and have a great look on stage. So I'm definitely appreciative of all the social media outlets that I have, and I'm definitely appreciative to Matt as well. He's definitely my go-to person if I have a question.
So real quick question to both you guys. What drew you into the industry and the fitness lifestyle and stuff, and what do you like about it?
Okay, I'll go. I think the biggest thing that drew me into the fitness industry is when I was a little kid, my uncle was always into weightlifting, and he was kind of a positive impact in my life, and I saw that he worked out, and he was a bigger guy, and from then on, I kind of started reading the magazines, just like every kid. You're with your parents, and they go shopping, and you kind of wander off into the magazine section, and you pick up Men's Health or Muscle and Fitness, and you see all these guys in the magazines and the look that they have, and you kind of aspire to be like that. And so I think when I was younger, that was kind of the motivation. And then as I'd gotten older, I got more into weightlifting, and you see the changes, and I think that instant gratification of quick changes, and Matt and I are pretty unique in that we can train and notice those changes, and we're so dedicated that we can kind of gauge those things and see them happen. So it's motivating for us, and we just have that type of personality where we're pretty consistent and determined, and we kind of are focused on reaching our goals. So it's definitely a great sport for us, because we really rely on ourselves to put in the work and eat the food and train a certain way, and you're really, at the end of the day, you make gains based on how hard you work and your consistency in the gym and things like that. And so,
yeah, I think Mark touched on a lot of the things that I would have said also, but I just know I pretty much started working out like that summer before my freshman year of football. I played, football growing up, Pee Wee football, and, as you're going into high school, that's part of the transition is you start, they encourage you to get in the weight room. And I used to see my dad, working out, and it was intriguing, and I would, be interested in it. And I also remember like watching the Rocky movie for the first time, and at the end of the movie, I'm up there doing push-ups and sit-ups and by myself, and like, oh man, I want to be like Rocky, because you see him and he's in great shape, and he's working hard, and they got the motivational music and everything. So I think it's a few of those things, they just kind of add up where Mark said you see guys and you're like, oh, I like the way that looks, and really when I started working out, I mean, I quickly just developed a passion for being in the gym. I mean, I'd work out for 3 hours at a time. I just loved being in there. I would feel like that was my place. So I've always, I bodybuild, but I think my first love is definitely training. So I love getting in there, being intense. I'll be loud when I train sometimes. I've had people complain about me. Some people say that, I motivate them though. So, I go in the gym and I have fun. That's my place where I just kind of let everything else go. And, I don't yell to like create attention to myself, but it's more just because that's my way of having fun and letting loose. And, I just kind of get in there and I do my thing. And, I feel like when I'm yelling, I'm motivating him and he's motivating me. And, I just have a passion for being in the gym and doing that. So I love the intensity, and I think I almost have to, especially when I'm deep in prep like this, I have to try to pull myself back a little bit. So, because when you're depleted and, you can't be just doing force reps and crazy high, volume all the time. So, sometimes I have to restrict myself a little bit, because if it was up to me, I'd still be training 3 or 4 hours at a time and, doing crazy drop sets on everything and, walking out of there with a cane. But, I just love that. So, we had fun with our training. And like I said, we're a little more instinctive with it, because we've been doing it so long. But, you learn things and you're always changing and adapting and just trying to progress. So.
Well, good luck, Mark, on your off season. Hope everything goes well. Matt, congratulations on the soon-to-be marriage, and good luck at USA's, man. You're looking insane.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Win that card.